the #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to episode 261 of Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments with me, your host, Richard Bexon. Today, we're going to be talking with Beth Beaird. She's an agent with Coldwell Bankers in Jaco. She brings over a decade of experience, some of it from California and now here in Jaco in Costa Rica. So we're going to be talking to her about kind of the Jaco market, just getting an insight in what's happening, and also some of the properties that she has that actually give off decent return on investment and why they do as well. So we'll be delving a little bit more into that. We're also here in Manuel Antonio, as a lot of you have invested into it as well. We've finished 3 villas, delivering another one in a couple of months, and also starting Villa 5 and number 6 on the Manuel Antonio Treehouse Villas. I'll put those links down in the description just in case anyone's interested. But there is investment opportunity there if anybody does, starting from $100,000 if you're interested. You can email us using the links in the description, or email us info@investingcostarica.com. That's info@investingcostarica.com. Also, you've got any questions just about Costa Rica? We do a lot of project management. I think we're managing probably about 20 builds, I'd say, throughout Costa Rica at the moment. We've also just started our own construction company as well, just because nobody seems to be able to do it right. So yeah, we've just started that in order to finish our Manuel Antonio project. So we're doing that ourselves. Not something we wanted to do, but something unfortunately or fortunately, the industry kind of really pushed us to do here. So we're a pain in the ass with anyone that's worked for us or with us, should I say. Usually for you guys, the clients, we're not, but usually anyone that works with us, we are, because we're kind of making sure I's are dotted and T's are crossed and things are done properly. But anyway, if you need anything, email us info@investingcostarica.com. Let's get straight into the podcast. Good morning, Beth. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing, Richard? Pura vida?
Very good. I appreciate you joining us on the podcast, which is, I know, a very busy day as a agent for Coldwell Bankers and also as a full-time mother as well.
Yeah, there's always things going on, but I'm happy to take some time to be here with you this morning.
I always say I think the best agents are mothers for some reason. They seem to be able to juggle multiple different things and organize themselves.
Exactly. I think especially as a real estate agent, it's not just showing homes. It's not just putting pretty pictures on the internet. There's a million things to do, and they come at you, they're never scheduled. So being able to multitask is super important. And I would agree with you. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, no worries. I think it's the toughest job in the world, to be honest with you. So yeah, but I mean, how would you describe the current real estate and investment market in Jaco, Beth?
So I would say Jaco is we have a little special niche here. We benefit from having I would say probably close to the lowest price points, entry price points in real estate in beachfront, nice towns, tourism towns. So I would say we're still moving. We are still moving our inventory. I mean, we're talking about entry level, $200,000, 3 minutes to the beach properties. So, I think it's diverse, but we also have that great entry point that allows the market to keep moving even in slower economies around the world.
Well, but also, I mean, you've got a Tico market there as well, which I think is very different than most markets in Costa Rica. I mean, like, look, $200,000 in Tamarindo, Coco, whatever, gets you really like a 1-bedroom, 10 minutes from the beach. Whereas I think I saw something yesterday, I can't remember whether it was Shelby or David had mentioned in your office that like for $300,000, there was a condo on the beachfront, which I was like, wow.
Yep, we do have a listing right now on the beachfront that is 300,000, and it's sizable. It's probably 1,500 square feet. Has great views. You can see the rocks it's on the north end. You can see the rocks. You can see a beautiful sunset, but you still have beachfront, so it's amazing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, again, I think because of that local market, I think it also helps as well. And I mean, I'm sure that we'll get into that once we start talking about like kind of ROIs. The one thing that's always concerned me, with Jaco, but maybe it's just a concern, is just that, David had mentioned who you work with, that there's an arrival of a lot of new apartments that are going to somewhat potentially flood the market. What do you think the impacts it will be of that?
Yeah, so I think that maybe that's a little misleading. I think majority of these condos have sold. Like for example, we have a beachfront project that we just sold out in 30 days. So yes, I agree with you. To some point, there is an influx of condos being built. However, they are moving. And so, again, I think it's that entry price point level. Somebody wants something here, able to rent it out, months out of the year, and they're still able to use it for 300,000. That's gold. Where are you going to find something 300,000 on the beach anywhere in the
No.
world?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
nowhere here in Costa Rica, maybe in like Guanacaste, like on one of those hidden Junquiao beaches or something. But even then, I think it's now they're creeping up to like 400, 450. So yeah. Yeah, I always think the Hakka market will do well, as I mentioned there, because you have a local market, which helps during the low season months, kind of this time. Uh,
Exactly.
and then also, just the tourism period of year, December through to April. I think it just comes down to whether people like Hakka or not, if that makes sense. Because I think it's for some people and it's also not for other people.
I agree. And I think that Hako, mostly in the past, I think it's changing its rep a little bit or a lot. I first came here 10 years ago on my honeymoon with my husband. He was here before me. But it was a lot different back then. But even then, it was never something I felt was a bad place. It's gotten this rep for drugs and things like that. However, it's completely changed. I have a family. I have a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old. We only hang out with other families. And I absolutely love it. You get amazing beaches. You get the convenience of a town, but you also can go 10 minutes down the road and find little beaches that you don't see anybody on.
Yeah.
So you get that, and you're an hour and a half from San Jose. I mean, you really can't beat that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So you have some pretty good high, return on investment properties at the moment. What makes them unique, Beth? Like, tell us about them and what you think makes them unique and why they get high ROI.
So I think the market is kind of what we talked about before. Um, these these smaller units, yeah, there's an influx of them, so there's a lot of competition, right? If you're wanting a cash flow vehicle, an investment vehicle, these bigger villas is really where it's at. I'm talking 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plus bedrooms. Because you're really hitting a niche market that nobody else has here. And the ROIs on them are, I have like a cash on cash ROI for 24.7% right now.
Wow.
I think they're unique because these big groups of people, I mean, we get a lot of weddings, bachelor parties, family reunions, things like that. And they don't want to rent a hotel. They don't want to rent 5 different little Airbnbs. They're renting one altogether. And they're also getting this amazing experience. The property managers that manage them, on my properties, and one of my really good friends, Jesse, they do an amazing job at a concierge service and adding all these extra little things to help the customers return, come back, have a good uh, you know,
Like a good
uh,
experience. I mean,
rapport with
yeah.
them. Yeah, and it just helps the numbers creep up higher.
It's
So go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's interesting because again, I think the ROI is definitely in larger properties or like unique small properties, because we spend a lot of time analyzing stuff and it's always the more bedrooms that you have, the better the ROI because I mean the infrastructure required for like common areas is the same really for a 4 bedroom to a 6 bedroom. It really doesn't change that much, but the returns on a 6 bedroom are much better than a 4 bedroom if that makes sense.
Oh, it 100% makes sense. Yeah, I see it every day here, and the numbers that I'm seeing on these bigger villas versus the little ones, right? Um,
Yeah.
so go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that, my concern at the moment is just, we're seeing some reduced tourism numbers here to the country. I think we predicted at the start of the year we'd see anywhere from 5 to 8%. I think that's probably going to hold true. We'll see what August has to say. July was pretty strong. We'll see what September, October, of course, is always going to be very quiet. And then it's going to be interesting to see what the final numbers are for November and December for this year. But like, do you think those ROI numbers are going to hold?
I do in these bigger properties. Again, I think we really haven't seen so much signs of that fully yet. But however, like we were talking about, Hako is really resilient. We have these bigger groups, especially from Florida and these states that are really close by, they're going to jump over here for the weekend and jump back over.
Yeah.
It's a cheap flight for them, $200, and our our prices here are not, they haven't gone up in a long time. So our prices here per night, even for these bigger villas, are still really affordable. I mean, you can't even get like a motel in the States for less than $100 a night, right? And we're talking about villas with, you can put, 12, 18 people in them, and they're paying about $100 a night too.
Wow.
So I don't know if it will really make a difference to us because we have such a unique kind of situation for that. And again, Jaco is the closest beach town to San Jose. We're still getting a ton of local tourism as well. So we really haven't seen that decrease like other places around the country have.
Okay. What do you think the Jaco market is lacking, Beth?
I think luxury properties.
Yeah. I'm building 4 of them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. Because I have clients that will ask me, in this $1 million to $2 million range, but it's hard to fit that bill.
Yeah.
Residential properties, really.
It's weird because Jaco, you have that like those nice condos in the 7, 8, 900 like range, which are kind of your top end stuff. But then homes usually jump up then to the 3, 4 million, but there's not like really that much new. There's nothing really in that, as you mentioned there, that $1 to $2 million mark.
Exactly. Yeah. We need it. We need it. So I'm glad you are building some. But yeah, in Jaco, we don't have, you're exactly right. We don't have from the, like 8 to 1.4, $1.5 million range. We just don't have that. And if we had it, they'd be sold.
Yeah.
We have buyers for them. We just don't have that inventory to show. We do have some luxury lots available right now. They're kind of on a private, it's not really accessible beach north of Jaco. They're called Cari Blanco.
Yep.
And
I'm doing a home there.
yeah, perfect. Exactly. So there's 8 lots there. I believe 4 or 5 of them have sold.
Yep.
And you can build gorgeous homes there. Like what size of a home are you building?
Like actually a 10,000 square foot home. It's a very large 3-story home because it's, of where it is. But yeah, I mean, the lots are like, 1.1, $1.2 million.
Yeah. And they sit on the sand.
Tidal. Yeah, it's look, when someone had mentioned it to me, I was like, what? Is that real? And then I drove over there and met the developer, Tom, and walked it. And I was like, wow, you've got something very special here.
It's special. It is special.
Tidal beachfront. It's in Jaco, but it's not, if that makes sense. It's kind of disconnected from Jaco.
Exactly.
Yep.
You take your little dirt road, but once you get there, it's amazing. But you're what? 10 minutes from town at the most.
Yeah. Or if you really want to cross the estuary, you can do.
Yeah, you can get yourself a boat as well.
Exactly. Take the little water taxi or just a floatable boat and go across. But
yeah, exactly.
What question do you think every prospective buyer should ask their agent, Beth? I always like to ask this from agents.
Yeah, I think it's not just one question. I think maybe it's spending a little more time with your agent, getting to know them, getting their background, seeing what knowledge they have, what knowledge they can pass on to you, and asking them the hard questions. I think it's really easy, and what most agents do is they just jump into showing you something. For me, especially coming from my background of having years of experience in the US, I like to sit down with people because most of the buyers here are going to be never invested in Costa Rica, never invested internationally. There's a lot of questions, don't necessarily know the area. So it's more of a consulting first, getting to know exactly what the client wants, telling them how the process works here because it's extremely different. We don't have an MLS, so that makes it quite different as well, and sometimes more difficult to navigate, especially on your own. So I think it's just having the consultation, sitting down and feeling comfortable with your agent, but you're also making sure your agent is giving you the truth too. There's a lot of, and this is all over the world, right? there's sometimes where unfortunately agents get a bad rep because the truth is not being told. Whether the client wants to hear it or not, I think it's important that the client does hear it, and how they accept that information is, is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Beth, this has been great. Thank you very much for kind of sharing your knowledge for you. But our last question that we love to ask everyone, if you had $500,000 to invest and you had to invest it into a business or real estate in Costa Rica, what would you invest it in and why?
I mean, for me, it'd be hands down a high ROI villa. I think it's
You can get that for 500,000?
well, I would get a loan.
Yep. And that's a
So I
good
would get
one.
a loan. You put down 35%. You have a loan for the 65%, and like I said, your cash on return is 20. I have a property right now, 24.7% cash on return. And like, where are you going to get that in the States?
True. I mean, that's a great return. That's absolutely
Yeah.
spectacular. But well,
Yeah.
awesome, Beth. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll put all of your contact details in the description down below for anyone that wants to reach out to you. But thanks very much for taking the time to join us on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Richard. I love chatting with you, and I can't wait to see you again. Thank
Awesome.
you.
See you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Hey guys, good podcast there with Beth. Again, Jaco is just a very interesting market, just because it has a very strong local market as well, and just because of the supply versus demand, it keeps prices in that you can get stuff like at under $200,000, and they've got one at the moment for $300,000 on the ocean. I think it just goes back to whether you really like Jaco, and that's kind of like what it is that you're looking for, but. It's definitely changed its environment. It is very family friendly as well. It does have that undercurrent of like bachelor kind of parties at night, but you don't really see that till 11 o'clock at night. And you see some things here and there, but it really is, I mean, it is changing. Some great restaurants, probably some of the beach towns with the best restaurants, and lots of entrances and exits, which is kind of nice as well. And we actually built a Pequeño Mundo there a while back. So, but anyway, if you're interested in doing anything in Costa Rica, guys, feel free to reach out to us, info@investingcostarica.com. Even if you just want some advice or, hey, we're doing this, we need some help, we're more than happy to give it to you. We're a sucker for helping people. I love to help the little guy. So again, info@investingcostarica.com. But till the next podcast, we'll catch you later. Bye.
The #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.